The man was actually the CEO of a billion-dollar corporation, but he refused to live a wealthy life. Instead, he hid his identity and worked as a real estate salesman. Every day he had to act humble in front of clients. Even when his father kept persuading him to stop, he refused without hesitation. He even broke off their father-son relationship in anger, was to secretly help his beloved wife start her business. But his wife never realized his efforts. Instead, she blamed him for dragging her down. In her eyes, all the expenses after marriage were paid by her, so she looked down on her husband who seemed like a failure. But one day while bringing tonic to her daughter-in-law, the mother rushed and got into a car accident. One would think the wife would show some care for her dying mother-in-law, but even knowing she had only one last breath left, she coldly ignored her. For her own future, she pushed away her husband's pleas and threats of divorce, and went to visit Jonathan, who only had a mild cold. Facing her cold-heartedness, the man was devastated, but his mother insisted on seeing her daughter-in-law one last time, so he carried the soup himself, hoping to convince his wife to come back, but instead he caught her being intimate with Jonathan. In rage, he beat Jonathan, but his wife still defended him, saying Jonathan was the CEO of a public company. It turned out to please Jonathan's mother. She had agreed to pretend to be his wife, and when Jonathan touched her closely, she didn't resist at all. When her real husband caught them, she turned on him, accusing him of ruining her plan. The man never thought she would say such words, but she showed no guilt. She said he had no right to control her. When he still refused to let go, she knocked the food box out of his hands. Jonathan called his men to hold him down, and the man could only watch helplessly as they left. Meanwhile, in the hospital, his mother was fading away. She mistook a young doctor for her daughter-in-law. She begged her to take care of her son, to spare the old woman regret. The doctor agreed. Hearing her last wish granted, the mother passed away with a smile. The man rushed in just in time to see this. He broke down in tears. From that moment on, he decided not to live without dignity anymore. When his father came up behind him, he knelt and begged for forgiveness, promising to follow the family's arrangements. The next day he transformed, from a down-and-out salesman, into the new CEO of a public company. Seeing his son finally change, the father was satisfied. He handed him 2 marriage contracts, saying he had arranged new fiancées for him. The man wanted to refuse, but was shocked to see one of them was his mother's doctor. He immediately chose to marry the kind doctor. The very next day at the funeral, guests arrived one by one, but his wife was nowhere to be seen. Just then he got a call from her. She said she was attending an important funeral with Jonathan, and that she would celebrate Jonathan's mother's birthday that night, then visit her mother-in-law later. She hung up the phone. Neither of them knew the funeral they were heading to was actually his mother's funeral. She even planned to use the chance to connect with the corporation, but when they stepped inside the venue and saw the CEO standing on stage, they were completely stunned on the spot.